G'day, Steeler Nation. Welcome back to Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. There's one thing, guys, I don't think I have covered either on my Steeler Nation Australia or this channel. And I was thinking the other day, the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, we have a host of channels. If you guys didn't know, there's the Detroit Lions Syndicate with our mate Derek, aka Gridiron Blitz. There's another mate of ours, Trey, who does the Minnesota Vikings Syndicate, right? And also the guy that I'm going to introduce today and get our help talking about Malik Willis, because I want to find out more about Malik Willis. And I can't wait for this, quick, short interview with Gage, because we also have the Denver Broncos Syndicate. So there are now 4 syndicates among the body of work that we all are doing. Myself and Owen are here on Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. But guys, hopefully you enjoy this video. As I'm talking to Gage about newly acquired outside linebacker Malik Reed. Did I say Willis? I might have said Willis. If I said Willis, I'm not too sure. I'll go back and check the tape. I could have said Willis, but outside linebacker Malik Reed has joined the team, and I haven't talked too much about him. So this should be a very fun and, exciting interview with my mate Gage from Denver Broncos Syndicate. Thanks, guys. Enjoy. Thank you for listening to that short intro. And let's bring in our guest today from Denver Broncos Syndicate, my mate, good mate, Gage. G'day, Gage. How's it going, mate?
Good, man. How are you?
Man, I am fantastic. Well, in my intro, and I didn't cut it out, but I did say Malik Willis, I think twice. That just came up. But we are here today to talk about Malik Reed. But before we do, let's find out a bit of your story, mate. Just to tell the viewers what's going on with yourself. You're a Denver fan and you're running Denver Broncos Syndicate. So how's all that been treating you? How's it going?
It's been fantastic, man. It's been a lifelong dream to have a platform of my own to cover the team, and being able to do that on both Denver Broncos Syndicate and my own channel, Sparking Over Broncos, it's absolutely fantastic.
You know what's good too as well? Like, I know you've been, how long have you been a fan for?
Since the age of 6. So, yeah. So I've been a fan for most of my life.
That's awesome, because I was going to say, like, it's a good time to come in to make the content and, talk football. And they're doing really well over there. If we have any Denver fans who like the Pittsburgh Steelers and like Denver, which is probably hard to do because of the Tim Tebow incident.
Yes.
Are you happy about that?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I still remember where I was when that happened.
And that was to rest in peace, Darius Thomas, right?
Yep, it was a slant. The pass itself traveled like 20 yards, and then DT housed it.
See you later. And I think Troy Polamalu came down into the box. He overread it too much. There was no safety back there. I think even Ryan Clark was out of position too, and they just ran away for 80 yards. I think it was that 2014 or something?
That was 2011. That
was
yeah, that was the year before Peyton came to town. We had the Tebow miracle against the Steelers, and then we went up to New England the very next week and got absolutely smothered by them. And that's when we knew that Tim Tebow was definitely not our quarterback of the future. And
you know what, though? I kind of liked Tim Tebow. I know a lot of fans didn't, but I liked how he just played with passion. I know he couldn't throw the football, but I liked how he played. There were certain games in that year where in the last 3 or 4 minutes, he just ran on to win the game, to pretty much take over, run the football into the end zone, and beat the Chiefs or beat the Raiders, whoever. He was pretty fun to watch, man.
He was, definitely.
But you guys were like, well, you had to wait, 3 quarters or 4 quarters to see it?
Pretty much, yeah. It was like first 3 quarters, he'd absolutely suck, and then he'd pull some miracle play out as you-know-what, usually with his legs.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So you've been a massive fan. You're doing stuff over there on Denver Broncos. How excited are you? We'll talk about Malik Reed. I keep saying Willis. It's in my head because I wanted to draft him, but now we have Kenny Pickett, which is I'm okay with, by the way. What are you feeling about Russ Wynn in the 5-year deal? You had Manning, right, and you've had it all the way back in the day. Now you've got Russell Wilson as your quarterback. There has to be one Super Bowl in there somewhere.
I hope so, man. You know, the Broncos are the worst franchise ever at drafting quarterbacks, but we always seem to make up for it by landing a veteran. Because with Elway, we didn't draft him; we actually traded for him from the Colts. The Colts had drafted him, and he essentially told them, "No, I'm not going to play for you." And so we ended up trading like a massive, at the time was a king's ransom for John Elway. And then obviously when the Colts dumped Peyton Manning, we ended up signing Peyton Manning. So for our first two quarterbacks, we ended up getting the Colts leftovers essentially. And then obviously we brought Russ in this offseason through the mega trade, but now we've got him locked up through 2028. So it's good after 6 long agonizing seasons of not having a quarterback and going through the Trevor Simeons, the Case Keenums, the Joe Flaccos, the Teddy Bridgewaters.
You had Flacco too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we had him in 2019.
You had Paxton Lynch as well.
Oh God, I forgot about him. He's like ingrained so deep in a corner of my brain that I don't ever want to visit again. Yeah, I forgot Paxton finished his NFL career with the Steelers. He was
he was third. I think he was in the training practice squad, and then he played, I think, in the USFL this year. Didn't do very well again.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's pretty exciting, man, because you now have to, upset the apple cart or whatever the saying is with the Chiefs. I think they're on the downtrend, and obviously having Russ win, like I don't think any NFL fan, like I don't hate Russell Wilson. I think he's a fantastic player, really humble guy, tries hard, goes out there and competes and wins. I never see him in the news. I never see him saying anything too silly. I never see him be too overly boisterous about his craft or way playing quarterback. I think he's like fantastic on that level, But that's great for you guys.
Absolutely. I mean, people give Russ a lot of crap because he's corny, but I'd much rather have a corny quarterback than one who's a horrible human being.
Exactly. And he's just a good athlete too. Like I think when, in the days of Seahawks, even watching him, I even like his command of the offense. Some quarterbacks just have it. Like he seems to have that settle down approach, or when it's crunch time, he knows when to go into fire up mode and really get after it. Like he's got that winner's mentality that some quarterbacks just haven't got, right? But you know what? It's been 6 minutes. Let's talk about Malik Reed. But before I do, we've got to play this because it's almost like it's going to be a mini podcast. Maybe for the next 10 minutes, we'll talk about what we're meant to talk about. Here we go. And welcome back to Friends. Nah, man, let's talk about it. So I was going to do a video by myself, and I thought, well, I know a bloke who does Denver Broncos Syndicate, and I need some help talking about Malik Reed. Now, the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, went and traded a 6th rounder last year or something, and we got a 7th with yours. I don't really know the details. They just reworked his contract. I'm not even sure how long we have him for. That's a little I know about Malik Reed. But it's also at the same time, there's been so much news going on. I haven't really been paying attention, to be honest. But my first question is, why did the Broncos get rid of Reed or send him away?
So it's definitely not that Reed's a bad player. He's definitely a good player and brings value to your roster. We just had a lot of depth at the edge rusher spot. We got Nick Benito, who we drafted in the 2nd round. We've got 3rd round pick from last season, Baron Browning, who we just moved from the off-ball middle linebacker position to the edge rusher position. And he has been absolutely thriving in training camp and in the preseason. And we have a few other guys at that position as well. So Reed was just kind of the odd man out. And also we've been kind of lacking draft capital ever since the Russell Wilson deal. We're only in possession of 4 draft picks, and that's still the case even after this trade. We flipped the 7th round pick for a 6th round pick, essentially, in the deal.
So you have next year in 2023, the Broncos have 4 picks.
Correct.
That's crazy.
Yep, a third.
That's like no one. Sorry, so what are they?
A third, a fourth, a fifth, and a 6th.
That's amazing. Because you've spent in the house to get Russell Wilson?
Yep.
Wow. Isn't that crazy how that kind of works? So, okay, so that makes a lot of sense then. So for Broncos fans, are Broncos fans kind of happy with that move because of the background you've told us about the 4 picks and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the overall consensus seems to be that it was a good move amongst Broncos country. There's obviously some that will never be pleased with anything, but
That's same here.
yeah, yeah. There's always that one section of the fan base that's going to be absolutely ticked off no matter what the team does. But
some aren't even pleased with me, mate. I'm from Australia. You don't know anything. You're from Australia. Yeah, but I wake up at 3 a.m. Do you wake up 3 a.m.? No. All right, go on.
Absolutely. We're the dedicated ones. So yeah. So go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, so Broncos country is with everything going on with Russ Wynn, right? And in that kind of scenario, they're pretty happy with sending away a good player. Like he was undrafted, right? 2019.
Yes.
And I'll go through some of his stats in a minute, but they're pretty content with that move.
Yes, absolutely, because they're very confident in not only their two starters in the position, Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory, but they're also confident in their depth at the position as well. So overall, the team's confident, and I feel like as a result, the fan base is pretty confident.
I reckon your fan base is confident because you have Russ Wynn. I'm just saying.
Absolutely. Finally having a franchise quarterback after going through 6 seasons of Paxton Lynch, Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler, Joe Flacco, Case Keenum, Drew Lock.
That might be the best. That might be the best quarterback grouping in the NFL. Honestly, you have Mahomes. You got Derek Carr. Is it Derek Carr?
Yep, Derek Carr.
Yeah, Derek Carr. And who's the other bloke? Justin Herbert. You know, and now Russell Wilson. So that the AFC West is packed. Okay, what else do we? So we trade him to the Steelers. What do you think that he can bring to the Steelers? He should be, in my opinion, he'll be third linebacker behind Alex Highsmith and TJ Watt. Is he happy to be a rotational guy? Is he happy to be a role player guy? Stuff like that.
So that's essentially what he's entered the season as the past several seasons. So obviously in 2019, he was undrafted and kind of had to work his way up the depth chart. In 2020, he saw let me go back. In 2019, as a rookie, he actually did see some significant playing time as well because Bradley Chubb tore his ACL. And then the following season, he was beginning the season as a depth piece, but right before the season started, Von Miller went down with a season-ending injury. So each year, he's kind of started the season as a rotational guy, but by the end of the year, he's been thrust into a starting role. Hopefully, for your sake, that doesn't happen with either TJ or Alex, but if TJ or Alex were to get nicked, Malik could come in and bring some good presence at the edge rusher position. He's a decent pass rusher. He doesn't always win at the line of scrimmage, but he will when you need him to. Like he'll come up with a sack in the clutch when you need him to. As a run defender, he's kind of up and down, but watching him in training camp and in the preseason this year, I was actually really impressed with the strides that he made as a run defender.
That's cool. That's what I want to hear. So I want to bring up a quote I found from I think it was Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, and I think just let me check who's the bloke that wrote it. Ray Fittipaldo wrote this article. I think he must have had an interview in the locker room. So this was coming from Malik himself, and I love this kind of stuff, man. I don't know if you read this when you see your players talk about this stuff, but he was asked about the Steelers when he came in, and Malik says, "I'm ready to embrace whatever opportunity I get," said Reed, who was 26. Also, 26 is probably the perfect number to be an NFL player.
Yes.
He said, "I'm here for a reason. I'm here to embrace it, and I'm ready to roll." Isn't that fantastic? If you were a Steelers fan, no, you're not, but isn't that fantastic to hear?
Absolutely.
Like that mentality? Absolutely.
That's the kind of mentality you want in pretty much all of your guys, all 53 guys plus all 16 practice squad guys. I mean, if you don't have that dog mentality in the NFL, you're not going to make it. And obviously, as an undrafted free agent, the odds were already stacked against Malik Reed. And look how far he's come as an undrafted free agent. And now he's got a chance to carve out an even bigger role for himself there in Pittsburgh. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. And with that mentality, I wouldn't be surprised if he notched like 4 or 5 sacks for you guys as a rotational edge rusher.
Yeah, I think the same as well. I was watching some highlights last night, and I thought he's just fantastic in his kind of play. I did see there was one game he was marked up against someone in the preseason last year, and it was, I don't know who it was versus, might have been the Seahawks. I don't know who you versed last year, but just the way his get off the edge was kind of fun to watch. Super fast, break out the inside, push him away to the quarterback, get ready to hit him. What is the most exciting stuff you have seen from Reed while being as a Bronco? what are the positives, and we might do the negatives after if you have any negatives.
So he's definitely very athletic. Like, he does have a very good initial get off at the line of scrimmage. Play strength can kind of be an issue sometimes, but he makes up for it with his speed and his bend at the line of scrimmage. So he can kind of like duck underneath the tackles and almost like swim under them essentially to get after the quarterback. So that's one of the biggest things. And then as a leader as well, just not even so much with the X's and O's. He's a very good presence in the locker room. Guys rally around him. The veterans in the Broncos locker room always talk very highly of him, and he had become one of the veteran leaders in the locker room on defense for us. So it's definitely that's the kind of guy I feel like Mike Tomlin likes to have on his team. So I really feel like Malik Reed is a true Mike Tomlin type player. So he's going to fit in really well over there culture-wise as well.
That's really good to hear, because we had the Melvin Ingram experiment last year, but I think within 2 games or whatever, they parted ways because he didn't understand the role. Yeah. He didn't understand the role. And even watching him, it was like he didn't want to be out there because he wanted to be the starter. I'm not even sure. Do you know where Ingram is now? I can't even remember.
I think he's in Miami.
In Miami? Yeah, okay. He's just nothing against the player, but like this scenario, I think is pretty similar. You know, a higher price guy, a talented player, but he understands the role. It's TJ Highsmith because he's got a rib injury now, but he's going to get healthier, and he'll be playing more. Third reps really, and when the game's on the line too, he might come in to spell TJ and those kind of blokes. Is there any negatives to I guess? His play that you've seen in the 3 years he played for Denver?
Well, one I kind of alluded to already is play strength. Like, if he's going up against like a bigger, stronger offensive tackle, like the Teron Armsteads, I know you guys played the Dolphins this year, so that's one matchup that could be a little bit tough for him. So when he goes up against like a bigger, stronger offensive lineman, sometimes he has issues. Sometimes he can get like washed out in the run game and completely like a non-factor in the run game. So I would say overall, those are like the 2 biggest negatives, but overall the positives definitely outweigh the negatives with him. He's a really good player.
Yeah, and if I check the stats here too, I was looking at the stats earlier before. So he played, with Denver, of course, undrafted. He played 45 games. I'm not too sure how many he started in those ones. Doesn't tell me on ESPN.com for some reason. Total tackles in 3 years, 123 tackles. Solo 74, assist 49, 15 sacks. I didn't realize he had 15 sacks.
Yeah, and over that 3-year stretch, that actually has like led the team in sacks over those 3 years with 15.
So do we get a steal then? Do we have a player that wants to be, play as hard as he can to be number one, but he knows that TJ Watt's in front of him? You know what I'm saying? Do we get someone that can, if he can learn from TJ Watt or Highsmith, because he's going to have a good year, I think, this year too, right?
Yeah.
Do we have a good, 3-piece of like outside linebackers right now?
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. Because even if just TJ or Alex get winded and you need to put Malik Reed in there, he's a guy that you can trust. Right. And that's not something you can say about a lot of guys. So I feel like Malik Reed, when given the opportunity, he will make plays for you guys.
So he's more of a like just a go-getter. I can't wait to see him, because honestly, this last like week or so, I don't know about you, and all the news going on, cuts here, cuts there, it's just been crazy. But he's got 2 fumble recoveries, 3 forced fumbles, no interceptions yet, 4 pass deflections, and it's got STF stuff. I mean, that must be like tackles for loss. But even for yourself, have you been noticing the news right now? It's just been crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, it feels like it's been for almost every other team except Denver. I mean, obviously, we had the Russell Wilson extension and Malik Reed got traded, but it feels like all the other teams are making these crazy trades and all that stuff. And it kind of feels like things are a little bit quiet over here in Denver. But for the rest of the league, it's just go, 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 go.
All right. So I'm gonna ask you 2 more questions, and you can ask me a question if you want to. It's up to you. First of all, final impressions. If Malik Reed comes out or with the Steelers, is he that dead set game changer? Have you been watching any Steeler football?
Yes.
With our run defense, is he a game changer where he can impact the play, and of course, like outside linebacker, we are pretty weak there.
Yeah.
Jameer Jones, Zutska got cut, right? Which
Yeah,
I actually saw,
Tuska.
yeah.
Tuska. He used to play here. He was drafted by us.
Oh, really? He's
Yeah.
playing for you, and now he's like with the. Is he with the Giants? No, Titans. I think he's with the Titans.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he got claimed.
I think he went over there. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, though, yeah, if we've got a good player somehow under the radar, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like and that's what teams who are really good at building championship caliber teams do. They get those under the radar players who don't really cost them a whole lot, but at the end of the day, they can make a massive impact for you when you really need it. Like, again, let's say it's a massive third down and TJ or Alex gets nicked up and Malik Reed has to come on the field. Like, that's a guy that defenses might not exactly account for as much as a Malik Reed or a TJ Watt or a Alex Highsmith. So that's something that could really be like a secret weapon for you guys this year when you really need him.
I'm kind of excited too because we have Highsmith, TJ Watt, Miles Jack, Devin Bush needs to play better, and now we have Malik Reed too, right? And Mark Robinson out the up and coming rookie, but we also have Brian Flores, who's a linebacker guru and great coach. So it's going to be very interesting. And also our preseason was like, yeah, it didn't play very well in here, but it's preseason, so I can't wait to see these fellas get back into action where their games actually matter, But I want to ask you one more question. Do you see, I think Denver's going to be in the playoffs. Do you see Pittsburgh in the playoffs or Denver versus Pittsburgh? Because if we go to Denver, it's going to be very hard to win that game.
Yeah, you do not want to play in Denver in the winter, in the altitude. It's definitely a tough place to play in the playoffs. But, Pittsburgh's one of those franchises that I feel like it really depends on the quarterback play because defensively, you guys have a lot of good pieces. Offensive line obviously could use some work. Your receiving core is fantastic. You got Najee in the backfield. So if Mitch can play well and if Mitch doesn't play well, then obviously Kenny Pickett's going to get the shot sooner rather than later. So if one of those two guys can figure out the quarterback position for the Steelers, there is definitely a chance for it. Like, I know there's a sector of the NFL and a sector of Steeler Nation that gives Mike Tomlin quite a bit of crap, but I feel like Tomlin is one of the best coaches in the league, and he has consistently proved that day in and day out. Like, please do not take this the wrong way, but the fact that he was able to take that Steelers team from last season to the playoffs was honestly incredible to me.
I think you wrote that on one of our, or either my channel or the Syndicate, and I said that was a compliment. No, what was an insult wrapped in cuddles?
Yes.
Your team was that bad, but you got there.
Okay, well, the team wasn't bad. It was mostly the quarterback play.
Oh, yeah. We all got – most fans know now it's like Big Ben was the problem, I think, near the end. Yes, he can win games, but now we have a mobile quarterback. Do you have any questions for myself before we get on out of here?
So what are your expectations for the Steelers this year?
Oh, win. No. Nah, realistically, I think we always have a playoff chance. I think we have Mike Tomlin – can get the fellas together and we can get there. Now, the next hurdle that everyone knows, if you're a Mike Tomlin fan or not, which I'm a big Mike Tomlin fan, I actually want to try and go to his Hall of Fame speech. I think he's going to make the Hall of Fame in whenever he retires. I think he needs to be up there because he's the 10th winningest coach in history, I think. Won a Super Bowl with the Steelers, won a Super Bowl with the Bucs, lost one here. Now, the big hurdle at the moment, I think, is no matter however you say it, it's the playoff, right? The playoff. We haven't won a playoff game in 4 years.
Yep.
So, we lost 4 games in a row. So that's kind of the big hurdle for me. Other than that, man, I'm just kind of excited because I think the new era with Trubisky or Kenny Pickett, it doesn't matter. Now we have a chance where you can be mobile. Big Ben couldn't do that.
No.
So we'll see how we go. But I'm excited for this defense. Do you want to send if people are Denver Bronco fans too? Do you want to tell them where to catch you?
Absolutely. So YouTube, Denver Broncos Syndicate, Sparking Over Broncos. I'm not as active on that channel, but Denver Broncos Syndicate primarily. And also give me a follow on Twitter at Gage Madrid NFL. That's really where I'm really active and do a lot of reporting on not just the Broncos, but pretty much every NFL team. So definitely check me out there on Twitter.
Yeah, awesome, man. It's been cool to have you here too. I think this might be the first link or crossover we've done between syndicates, which is amazing. And the other fellas didn't know we did it, so that's kind of cool to see. It's been awesome having you on, man, talking football. We could talk football for hours, but I'm still salty about that Tim Tebow play as much as it's good to see it, right? We're salty fans are like far out. And on your side, you're like, wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
You know?
that was one of the top 5 moments in my Broncos fandom. And obviously number one's winning the Super Bowl. Like that's something that only our 2 syndicate channels have experienced. The other 2 syndicate channels have yet to experience that.
The yin and yang of it all too, and I also like the Gus Johnson Stokely down the sideline.
Down the sideline.
Oh, yeah. I love that one too.
Oh,
I
man,
love that was
great.
like absolute fantastic play. Anyways,
that reminds me of something before we go.
What's that?
Do you think that the Bengals are going to suffer from a Super Bowl hangover this year?
I bloody hope so.
Oh, yeah.
I bloody hope so, mate. Nah, there's a lot of pressure on the Bengals. There's a lot of pressure on the Ravens. There's really no pressure. I brought this up the other day on my Steelers. I'll bring up here, right? Now, the game picks. This is the game picks for week 1. All 10 NFL analysts think the Bengals are going to win. I don't care. It is 0-0, mate. The Bengals are short success over the 1 year or year and a half. They've beaten the Steelers 3 times. The Steelers have 6 Super Bowls, been to 8, so 6 and 2. I believe they've been to 8. I'm pretty sure it's 8. Yes, I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong, but the Bengals hadn't won a playoff game in 30 years. Like, so look, I'm not worried about it. I'm really not. If they beat the Steelers again, of course, that's 4 in a row, and that's a bit of a problem. But seeing this thing here, image here, I'm like, the Steelers having TJ Watt, do they just forget we have TJ Watt? Do they forget we have Cameron Hayward? Do they forget we have Minka? It's our defense. If our defense can play physical football and hold teams under 20, just got to score 3 touchdowns.
Yep, absolutely.
Got to score 3 touchdowns, and then it's 21-20. That's all I care about. So it's field goal stuff, right? And to me, the Bengal hype is so high right now. But don't forget about the Pittsburgh Steelers because they like to play the underdog role. They always have. For some reason, and I think Big Ben liked it too, to be honest. He liked to be down by 14 points and come back to win. The Steelers haven't really, in the last few years, they don't really smoke teams out and put the pressure on and go, okay, we're going to beat you by 21, 24. They always seem to make it just be competitive. And then when they have to win, they do. Or they don't. Yep. So I'm excited to see this team actually play some physical football on defense because TJ Watt is Defensive Player of the Year. There's guys on defense that can do it. Miles Jack, now Malik Reed too, right? Highsmith coming back into his 3rd year, right? Alulu, Ogunjobi as well used to be a Bengal, actually a Bengal and Brown. He's played for one of them. He hasn't played for one of them. Anyways, there's a lot of guys on the defense. Here you go. So I'm excited for that. I've actually forgotten the question.
I was just asking what your expectations were for the team.
All right. Anyways, thanks, Gage, mate, for coming on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. If you want to check out some stuff on the Denver Broncos Syndicate, because we're all a syndicate of channels, would appreciate it. Just go and hit the sub over there, say hello. Even if you're not a fan, I still enjoy the content you do over there. It's fantastic, man. You're going so hard in the paint, so we appreciate that. And man, we'll have to do this again. We don't play this year, do we? The Steelers don't play. No, we don't play. We don't play in the regular season.
No, we do not. No. I think we might play next year, though, but you never know. We could see each other in January.
It may happen, guys. It might be, if Denver wins the division and Steelers sneak into a 7th wild card, it might be Denver versus Steelers in, what's your Mile High Stadium?
Empower Field at Mile High. We just call it Mile High.
You guys can keep it. We can't keep our name.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, mate, thank you for coming on the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate. I'll send you out in this video and stick around for 1 minute. Thanks, guys. We'll see you later.